Let's talk about learning to code. For a lot of us, it's a journey of, well, a lot of frustration. But what if the best way to succeed was actually to fail? Today, we're going to dig into a really radical new way to learn C++, and it's called FailFirst. It's an idea that suggests we've been thinking about errors all wrong.
So to really get why an idea like FailFirst is so needed, we've got to start by understanding a pretty universal struggle for new programmers, what we're calling the coder's dilemma.
Yeah, this image probably looks really familiar to anyone who's tried to learn to code, right? On the left, you've got that moment of pure panic when your code breaks. The screen just explodes with error messages and that frustration starts to creep in. It's an almost universal rite of passage.
And this right here gets to the absolute heart of the problem. It's not just that coding is hard, it's how we're so often taught. We learn to be afraid of making mistakes, which means we stop experimenting. And that's the one thing you absolutely need to do to learn. Debugging starts to feel like a punishment, not a fun puzzle. And pretty soon you hit that engagement gap, and all that initial excitement you had is just gone.
So what's the solution to this whole dilemma? Well, the answer is a little counterintuitive, but it's incredibly powerful. It's all about learning how to fail your way to success.
And this is it. This is the central kind of provocative question that flips the entire problem completely on its head. Forget trying to avoid errors, but what if failure was the whole point of the exercise?
That question, that's the entire philosophy behind FailFirst. It's a desktop app that's built from the ground up to totally transform how you learn C++ by reframing what an error even is. So instead of being these frustrating setbacks, mistakes actually become your main tool for learning. It's all about building resilience and curiosity, not just raw coding skill.
Okay, so that's the big idea. And it's a great one. But how does it actually translate into a real learning experience? Let's take a look at what they call the gamified journey.
So instead of some rigid, linear textbook, FailFirst creates this really intuitive learning path. It gives you just enough structure so you don't get lost, but it's also really flexible, which lets you learn at your own speed and, maybe most importantly, keeps you engaged.
The whole process is built around this simple but really powerful four-step loop. You log in, you pick a lesson, and then you're given a challenge. But here's the twist. The code they give you is designed to be broken. Your job isn't to write perfect code from scratch. It's to find the bugs and fix them. And when you do, you get rewarded, which creates this amazing positive cycle of problem solving and achievement.
Now, this whole experience is made super compelling through a few key features. First up, it's heavily gamified. I'm talking earning experience points, building up streaks. It taps into that natural human drive for progress, and it turns what could feel like a chore into a really compelling game.
It's also a dedicated offline app. Now, this is a really deliberate choice. It creates a focused learning space, away from all the endless distractions of a web browser. It means you can practice anytime, anywhere, no internet needed.
And of course, all your progress is saved securely, right there on your machine. This lets you jump in for just a quick 10-minute session or a longer study block, and you can always pick up exactly where you left off without missing a beat. It's pretty seamless.
So when you weave all these features together, what you get is a journey that feels way less like a course you have to finish and more like a path of continuous achievement. Every single step forward is recognized and it's rewarded, which just reinforces that you're making real tangible progress.
And all of this leads to the true transformation that this whole process makes possible. It's that journey from seeing an error to gaining real expertise.
This brings us right back to our coder, and the psychological shift is crystal clear. You start out on the left, feeling anxious and totally intimidated by errors, but by working through this method, you arrive on the right. You're confident, you're capable, you're fluent. You haven't just learned the syntax of a language, you've learned how to think like a programmer.
Ultimately, this project points to something much, much bigger than just a single app for learning C++. It really represents a new code for learning itself.
This quote from the source material just sums it up perfectly. It really is a paradigm shift. It's all about changing our relationship with failure, seeing it not as something to be scared of, but as an incredibly powerful tool for growth. And this just nails the practical outcome. How many courses fill your head with tons of theory, but then leave you completely stranded when it's time to actually apply it? By championing this hands-on, learning-by-doing approach, FailFirst totally bridges that gap. It empowers new programmers to build real skills way faster.
And this leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. This method is clearly powerful for learning a complex skill like C++, but it makes you wonder, what else could we master?
In our careers, in our hobbies, or just in our personal growth, if we were all just a little more brave enough to